All right, and we're back here. It's almost time for a little Nuke action. We've got Cloud9. We've got compLexity. Sure to be a clash of the Titans here on Nuke. We haven't seen a lot of Nuke this season, so it's a little exciting. I'm sure our observers love it more so than we do.
I think like DJ's probably having like a mini panic attack at this point. That map is just pure hell.
Well, he usually does have a considerable amount of breakdowns before each session because, you know, the thing is he really wants to get every play for you guys at home. Like, he wants to capture every single one of them, and rightfully so. You know, good on him for trying to do a good job. But seriously, you got to chill out back there. It's getting a little weird. But we're looking at Cloud9 compLexity on Nuke.
Yeah,
we've got. Do we have an interesting matchup other than the fact that it's Nuke?
Well, I think it's interesting simply because, well, for a couple of reasons. First off, compLexity is a fairly new leaf in that sense on Nuke, so it's going to be interesting to see what they can actually come up with if they've actually put some time in it with Jason, which I have my doubts about. Obviously, they wouldn't know that they're playing these two maps coming into the week, so hopefully they've had at least a couple of games to run through stuff. But for me, it's going to be seeing Cloud9, what kind of, necessarily progress they've had. If it's still Tim who's going to be leading the reigns, if they change anything up from how they played it in Katowice, which was successful for them, that kind of stuff. Like basically see the progress of Cloud9 and how they go about things. Because I do think like even though it's a map that can allow for a bit of random results every now and again, I still think Cloud9 should be good enough to take it away from compLexity regardless, especially given the situation that compLexity find themselves in.
Well, we did know that Timtaw was calling against SK on Nuke. And honestly, an interesting pick altogether. I don't think we anticipated that. But we have Eric DeBear Stromberg, who's going to run us through a little bit of Cloud9's Nuke and kind of give us some analysis on that. Take it away, Eric.
Hello and thank you. Stunna and Vendetta, you guys are great. We're going to take a look at Cloud9, specifically Automatic on Nuke. They picked it. Automatic, who's apparently the strat caller, as he's playing mini. He Molotovs for the rush. He loves playing this area. He sometimes makes it up by dropping Rafter. But as you can see, the rush, he'll Molotov, push through the smoke to help his teammates. He gets kills, he gets assists, he does a lot of damage. Good job by Automatic. One of the other spots he plays, he likes to play fast lower in case if they do smoke outside. Now, I don't like this play in particular because Automatic, he puts himself in a really bad spot. He can't fall back. He has 0 teammates helping him, and they know that there's a person area. There's a smoke this deep lower. He's flashing. They know that at least one person's here. So Automatic, he did get 1 kill, but it does not help his team at all because now his teammates have to rotate. They have to leave their spots. Not a great play. This play I like a lot better because, one, he puts a smoke over here. Now the T's have to, if they want to cross the smoke, they have to check 2 common choke points that is very hard to do. So they have to wait behind the smoke. As you see, it's almost like a one-way. So if they do cross, Automatic will see it. He Molotovs. As the angle that he tossed, they know that they're probably a guy by the stairs. So he repositions himself towards the toxic area. He's delaying, he's stalling. While he's doing this, it allows Stewie to rotate to lower to kind of play more of a bomb site. Automatic does a pretty good job at the start. He gets 1 kill right here. And I think at this point, you could fall back, you know. After 1 kill, it's fine. Fall back, make them come to you, make them run in your teammates' crosshair. There's no reason to keep over-peeking like that. As you see Tui's down here, he eventually gets the kill, and they win the round. So Automatic, great player. Just tone it down a little bit on, after a couple kills, 5-on-5 situation. 1 or 2 kills is all you need. Fall back, wait, play as a team. Back to you, Stunna.
Hey, thank you, Eric. Seeing this Nuke matchup is just a little exciting. We haven't seen a lot of them. And being that we're going to see one of the best North American teams do that in Cloud9, play it here today against compLexity, put up a little bit more fight than I think we anticipated in that last map. So, Vendetta, let me get a quick prediction from you before we go live into this thing.
I'm going to have to go with the boring choice and kind of stick with the favorites. Cloud9, I think they're going to be too strong for compLexity to take this, considering the situation compLexity find themselves in and with how good Cloud9 have looked on the map in the past.
Well, in the past, we've had the best commentators standing by, and guess what? They're standing by still, blue and dazed. You guys ready for this?
Yeah, I think we are ready for this one. As again, it's going to be jumping over here to Nuke because DJ probably having a little bit of a, as the analysts are saying, a little bit of a mini panic attack. 10 feet in that direction. So
yeah, I can hear him like wheezing.
This is, he was
the paper bag like going
crimpling in the background.
Yeah, it's kind of distracting.
He was standing, 5 feet in that direction when he figured out that the map was Nuke, and he was like, "Oh no!" And he just freaked out on us. So we had to go over there, calm him down.
There's a handful that that
Oh,
DJ.
it was a rough 5 minutes for him, but
Yeah.
I think he's okay now. So yeah, it's going to be on Nuke, ladies and gentlemen, and I think that the problems only escalate here for compLexity now going to a map like Nuke, as unfortunately, as unstructured this team
I think
tends to be.
compLexity's got this, man.
Jason R hitting them.
No, I didn't catch the match versus SK and Cloud9, so this is actually going to be my first time seeing Cloud9 on Nuke. Hoping to learn a thing or two, as I haven't played this map too much. But yeah, it's Nuke. I mean, even this iteration, it's a map that takes like an immense amount of teamwork. It takes really crisp rotations, really good communication. It's one of those maps that you just, it's not as individually skilled in my opinion to perform well out. I think it's more of like a team aspect. Like you got to be good as a team on this map. You got to have your rotates on point. You got to know who's responsible for what. And the communication aspect is very essential as well.
All right, guys. Well, again, we did have a little bit of an issue with Skadoodle disconnecting from the match, so while we're waiting for him to get reconnected, again, big apologies with that, as we do have a slight delay. We're going to be throwing it to a break. Should be back pretty quickly, though, so stick with us here, and the second map between compLexity and Cloud9 is coming up in just a moment.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.
All right, and we're back again here. Once again, guys, we do apologize. Still working on getting the players into the server here right now. So we thank you once again for sticking with us here into the night as the ESL Pro League continues. But Again, let's talk a little bit more about Nuke. I mean, I can offer some insight on when we saw them play SK, as that was me like casting that match like 2 in the morning, I think is when that one happened. So, but I mean, like Cloud9 overall actually did a really good job of weighing out the aggression and specifically as we talk about T side, controlling the hot spots on the map. Because as you look at it, even at high level play, it always comes down to who gets better control of like the ramp room and outside. Because that seems to be in a lot of cases like a good 50 to 70% of the round. Is if you can get either one of those cleanly, then the follow through and the closeout on the round is actually pretty easy from that point forward.
Yeah, I mean, definitely outside. Well, because the key is you need to get the defense moving.
Yeah.
ST. And once you get the defense moving, then all of a sudden there's going to be openings. If you don't make movement happen, it's really difficult to brute force into ramp, to brute force into inner, and things like that. So once you go outside, you make somebody have to account for secret. You make somebody have to account for vents. You make somebody account for all these spots. All of a sudden, it thins out the defense, and there's openings. So that's usually the story of how Nuke is played, right? It all starts with outside.
Yeah, and of course, again, Cloud9, like I said before, against SK specifically, they're doing a really fantastic job of that. For whatever reason, though, SK, in a lot of teams too, there's the usual thing we start to see now where they just line up the smokes across the path. They go past the red box and over to secret. Nobody ever really seems to have like a good counter to that to just stop them from getting it. It almost seems like every single team is like, okay, they're smoking it. We're not really going to challenge it too much. We might just like spray through the smoke and hope we can get a couple there. But then they just follow through and just look to counter them out when they actually go downstairs.
Yeah, I mean, for good reason. It's one of those things where if you try to fight them through the smoke, a lot of the time you're forcing it, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes you might try to get a kill off catwalk and things like that, but whenever you're forcing something in Counter-Strike, it's usually not a good idea, especially on a inherently CT-sided map. So you're okay with them getting secret, and then you have somebody they're spotting, and then that's a big tell in what their strat's going to be, right? All of a sudden you know, okay, they're secret. We probably don't have to worry about upper too much right now. You know, most likely it's going to be some type of a ramp play if they're committing to secret because this guy's spotting. And if he doesn't see them, then all of a sudden, you know, maybe you have to worry about them coming back towards mini and things of that nature.
Yeah, so again, guys, we do have the players finally getting into the server here, which means we should be live momentarily. But, I mean, overall predictions here, right? Still probably looking to Cloud9 to close this out after what we saw there on the last map.
Yeah, I mean, I think Cloud9 is just a way better team.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. Like, compLexity is up against a giant. It's like David versus Goliath right now, kind of.
And unfortunately for the lesser team here, it's going to be a pretty rough ride for them, as you can see there. Now, we should be jumping into the map
But anything can happen in
momentarily.
CSGO. Anything.
Especially online and in North America.
And not Nuke. Nuke could be an upset map, man. Like, Nuke's an upset-heavy map.
Yeah. It's really weird the way that, like, the
like, unless you have, like, the best team playing on it.
Yeah.
When you have super top team, but, like, I'm telling you right now, Cloud9's not the best team on Nuke. I almost guarantee it. And obviously, compLexity isn't. So, like, you know, it could happen because it is so CT-sided. You can win ecos on it with, like, mag 7s and things like that. So it can be, like, an upset map.
Yeah. All right. Well, it looks like, guys, as you can see on the screen there now, the match is finally live. So let's get into it here. compLexity taking on Cloud9, with compLexity getting the start on the CT side and Cloud9 jumping over to the T side. Let's take a look now as the pistol gets started. Nothing too crazy in terms of buys. No monster or no raid boss pickups here or anything of that nature. It is just going to be fairly straightforward here from the get-go of things. And even, again, on the opener with positioning and whatnot here, they're just going to filter inside of the lobby way. And have a few players on roof, I imagine, to toss out maybe a nade or two from there. They're breaking the windows right now. We'll have to see where they follow up upon this. This is still a pretty normal thing to do, just break out those windows. We have to see if they actually are going to follow through with trying to smoke that out to the certain degree that they can. Skidoo's the only one that has it currently, but...
Yeah, so slowing it down, just kind of seeing if anybody's going to push. Now we're going to see the outside big garage smoke come out from Skadoodle.
Which means Surreal is still going to be able to spot over here into the opening if he wants to. And he goes hunting for that now in that little box alleyway.
Moving way too much, though.
Yeah. He keeps changing up his position. This is going to let Cloud9 just filter directly in. They've got control of the garage, and they're going to move their way forward. Android pick up the first one, and oh my god, they just completely destroy Cloud9. They don't get anything done here. Falls to Skadoodle, but he's fragging out too. Unfortunately, he falls into the trap, and Def is going to knock him out after he picks up those 2 frags.
Yeah, one of the things about compLexity is I mean, they have 4 players, in my opinion, who really can hit some nice shots in Android, Desi, Dep, and Jason R, and Surreal to probably a lesser extent. But pistols especially, Desi's pistol has always been like a force, and you know, it's something that we just saw right there. That was a pretty cool shot by Cloud9. If you saw, they smoked a big garage, automatic gun on the thing, and then Skadoodle throws a popper over, and he drops into mini. That was pretty cool. The timing didn't work out though, and you know, obviously losing the round. forcing them to just have a deagle and pistols, and now Ska, of course, having the nades as well.
Yeah, and the rest of them, after the smoke fades away, probably are going to go for pretty quick control over there towards the ramp. Jason R, that nade, oh, it works out perfectly, too. He gets some pretty massive damage onto those players. Not going to stick around to challenge it, but he's actually left with no choice, as he's a little bit too slow on that fallback there. Stewie takes him out, and again, doesn't trade out any kills in the process either here. So it's a free loss and beautiful shot from nothing. Just barely has the angle there, but it's enough to be able to headshot against Def and take him down. Surreal, is even going to check this right side? No, he doesn't. So Stewie not only takes out Surreal, but saves 2 of his teammates, and all that's left alive here is Desi. Who's going to get running knife killed from Skadoodle. They knew he was low, and he just walks up against the casual left click there for the extra $1,500.
Wow. Well, that sucks. Not only did Jason R die at ramp, but he gave Stewie a Molotov, which cut off any type of vents, peak, or rotation, and was able to get in window room in a spot where he's almost always going to get a kill.
So just a series of unfortunate events for compLexity, and that is going.
That's the 3rd eco they've lost, or is it the 4th?
That would be the 3rd. The 4th one was the compLexity one.
The one
the Jason R one.
Yeah. So 3rd eco they've lost so far in the season, or series.
Yeah.
Season's probably way more. That could be in the hundreds by now.
So at the moment, it's going to be compLexity again. Already just rotating players downstairs as Garage gets smoked off. And they just really don't, besides Def, as you can see here outside of Heaven, they're really not putting any presence on outside at all. They just let Cloud9 walk in and take it here. Def, as you can see, even tagged down a bit too, so there's not really a hole that he can contest to. He's just going to have to fall back and see where Cloud9 go with this, as they pretty much have like a good 75% of the map under their control already. But Android, at the very least, got a bit aggressive in moving out there and was able to battle back for some of it, taking down Stewie inside of the garage there to take him down. But Android, well, he picks up another kill. Automatic is able to knock out Def, and it's going to be a bit of a scrappy battle here for control of the A-bomb set. At the moment, though, leaving some room for compLexity to win this as they continue to trade it out. Desi being the big fragger here inside, who picks up 2 kills now and leaves Shroud alive to clutch 1v2. And he's not going to find any contact here on the actual site before he gets to the plant. compLexity are going to be keen enough to just let him go and put the bomb onto the ground, and they'll just try to retake here from the shed. But Shroud, I think, is aware of this. He's still checking towards Heaven there to see if there's going to be any pressure in that direction. In the meantime, one trying to flank outside, but in him trying to shift walk up into Jason R's face, he's just sitting there waiting for it. And he's going to be able to execute and battle back the control again, now into compLexity's hands.
Just trading rounds right now. Now it's a Cloud9 turn to try to get that back. So that's 2 anti-ecos that Cloud9 has lost. 3 that compLexity has lost this season, this series. Excuse me. So out of like the last 30 rounds or so, we've seen, 5 anti-ecos.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a crazy battle here with no team just being able to follow through on their winouts here. At the moment, it's making the beginning of this map here on Nuke incredibly unstable here. Stewie, as you can see, is trying to wean back and forth there into the shed window position to take down Desi or anybody that might be out there, but Desi will give it up after a few moments of delay here. And now Cloud9, I mean, they force into this one, and they've actually got decent utility and whatnot too, so they can make some sort of an execute if they want to try to funnel in here towards the A setting and just breaking the windows and whatnot, but still fairly common to see. And whoops, I don't think he meant for that to go that far back. As that's going to be wasted essentially, so that's actually a pretty big waste.
He's like, wait, which one is it? That's not a good sign for how this strat might play out.
As now, well, he makes up for it there by hitting a nice 1D against Jason R and taking him back down. Problem is the guys from compLexity continue to get aggressive. Oh, Android runs out of ammo a little bit there, but trades are still consistent enough for compLexity to bring this back down to a 3v3. The bomb is still down in the lobby too, so without Cloud9 having control there, regardless of a site they'll be able to get control of, they won't actually be able to take it anywhere. Def still sitting up in Heaven. At the moment, he's going to get the spot, but Shroud actually, again, battling back. Stewie tried to go from hell up to heaven, but he was spotted just before he got to the top of the ladder. And now Desi re-aggresses in through the shed, takes out Shroud. Automatic follows suit. The bomb is dropped for a second time, and they should already know Stewie's somewhere between hell and working his way back over towards the T lobbyway here. He is going to attempt to just sneak his way in and through the door, but Desi's ready for that one, and he hears him coming. So it's actually a pretty easy closeout there in the 2v1. compLexity up to 3, and this should force the save now, or at least just the half-buy from Cloud9 as they look to get towards their first gun round.
Yeah, so compLexity gets out of that danger zone with the force buys. So now complexity, or Cloud9, excuse me, almost on a complete save, just 3 deagles. Still dangerous though. But yeah, complexity again taking pretty early control and is going to be in a good spot as long as they can win this round in a very good spot. You know, to have a really good half. But this is the same situation we saw on Train, and you know, one round after another just, you know, went for the Cloud9 way, or went Cloud9's way.
Yeah, and Cloud9 themselves being very aggressive this time to take that outside control.
Desi just keeps putting every anti-eco. He just puts himself in these dangerous positions. I don't understand it.
Trying to impact.
You're playing a headshot angle against Eagles.
Trying to impact to the best of his ability here, but again, not actually coming out with any kills. I think he dinked one player into about 20-30 damage. Meanwhile, the rest of his teammates are just cleaning up his handiwork there. Skadoodle finally picking up a secondary kill here for Cloud9, but now that he's alone, and Desi finally has the safety to try and push out and finish the round.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why he's putting himself consistently in those situations. You know, on Train, he was the first one to die, like pretty much on both those anti-ecos, right? At T-mid, he just didn't check the corner and shroud killed him. Then when he was running around Sandwich, automatic killed him in the side. And it's like, just stop being like so aggressive on him and chill out, man. I don't know.
Now we get past that eco round, and for Cloud9 here, complexity can chill out a little bit into the gun rounds, of course. Desi once again playing it close to the wire here after that door. And almost finds himself in an open duel with one of the members of C9, but does not come to pass, as they are going to be looking to fall away from that position and go for probably just full-on outside control here, keeping Stewie inside of the lobby to watch out. But Surreal, well, he's going to have a lot to watch out for here in a second. This is looking like it's going to be a 4-man push here, and Surreal's just out of position to actually spot. I think it's automatic sitting up on top of the Twinkie there. Excuse me, Skadoodle. He's going to be one of the ones that starts to wrap back around first. But Surreal, he does hit the shot on Shroud, and now he's on the run. Try and get back to his safer position here in the amount of time. Gets himself behind the AC. Looks down below, but didn't realize that automatic had pushed his way in. That's a bit irrelevant, though, as it's nothing from down below that gets the kill. And now there is going to be that outside control. Desi moving back downstairs here really quickly, as he knows that they can easily route through Secret. Is going to be watching out for pressure down there. Android mainly paying attention to Heaven here currently, as he waits to see if automatic or anybody else is going to try to swing back in. But with all that control for Cloud9, there's so many questions for complexity to try and figure out here. And unfortunately, for Android at least, he's going to ask the wrong one, as he ends up just getting knocked out with bullets to the back. Def, at the very least, again, trading, so still leaving this into a 3v3. But now the real question is, again, 30 seconds remaining. Where exactly are Cloud9 going to try to take the bomb towards here? They got Heaven control, automatic going to leap back out. He does find Def, and that should allow for quite a big opening there to be on really either bomb site. Jason R is working on a flank. Skadoodle finally gets the bomb onto the ground here, and Desi finds himself in an open battle against Automatic, who now had control of Heaven. And while Jason R is going to lurk his way in, he's only started this retake. Now they know where he is. He sees Skadoodle going to the back corner, but again, at range, Skadoodle is going to win that out with the AK.
Yeah, and Cole's money is not looking that great. They should buy here, but you know, Jason R's probably going to drop a gun. But even then, if I was Def, I'd probably get a just get an op. Yeah, he does. So, op, no armor. And it's not the worst buy. I mean, FAMAS, op, 2 M4 is a CZ. But, you know, they do have that op, so Def might be able to make it 4v5 here.
Yeah, we are going to
This round's really important, though, Blue.
Yeah, we are going to see Cloud9 again just spreading out. They did pretty much a default opener here, not trying to look for anything too aggressive at the beginning like they did in the last round with that outside control, though. They are still going to look for it. Just probably on a much more delayed timer here, as we can see Automatic and some of the others getting ready to probably deploy a bit of utility. And again, it's fairly passive on the actual defense of it. Def is in the area, ready to watch out for, but he's got a glass cannon op buy, so there's not a whole lot that he can kind of just go out and take duels for, as, again, if he leaves himself in the open, it's very, very easy to dispatch of him. So holding himself in the alleyway, looking for that Twinkie boost player, but won't be seeing him. He ends up just resolving to fall back behind that and watching for catwalk pushes over Twinkie. But everyone else, again, here's that smoke wall on it that we talked about there, where Cloud9 is going to waltz right through this. Desi, again, getting aggressive, but not having an impact. They don't have anybody watching their flank, though, so Desi can actually walk behind them and have some good impact, but he goes for the player at the headshot angle instead of the one out in the open, and that allows time for Cloud9 to spin around and take him out before he actually makes impact. Can see Jason R over there in decon, spotting the play down to this bomb site, but that's pretty straightforward. Now they know it's coming in here. Jason R unfortunately has to deal with some pretty rough angles, but he makes the best of it, actually, picking up not 1 but 2 kills here. And now Android and Surreal are able to move back in, and they actually end up recovering this very well for complexity. It's a 4v1 with Automatic only having 20 seconds left. There's not really anything he can do, so more than likely he may just try to sneak out of here in a moment. But actually going back down towards decon, As he moves in, it looks like Jason R is just going to be watching out for that. So he does finish off the round with a nice 3K. And compLexity pick it up.
Yeah, just a full over-rotation by compLexity. They beat them to lower with multiple players there. Allows them to win that round. You're right. Terrible position by Jason R, but just owns them.
Somehow makes it work. One of the timing from Cloud9 was off, or they just didn't communicate it properly. But it ends up working out for them, and again, brings Cloud9 back down onto a scrap together pistol half armor round for, or pistol full armor round for both of these guys here, with utility though, so they can still try and smoke something off here and make an attempt at a site take, and well, pull that off as well.
Why? Every time. Every anti-eco, this guy just wants to get kills.
Every round, it's not even anti-ecos, he gets super aggressive. So that's going to put it back 5v4 again here. As Cloud9 will have the advantage. Didn't even bring Shroud completely out of the round either here. He still has plenty of utility to play with. And, well, 15 HP, he's obviously going to be probably positioned a little bit further back in the take. But he can definitely contribute, and at the very least act as a sort of semi-support role here to toss in smokes and whatnot for his team when needed. In the meantime, too, you could see there that nothing had full control on outside. But he's probably not going to be using that for right now. Probably a bit of a delay here as the rest of the team is working their way over towards ramp. And the CT player here, Jason R, does realize it, so it just backs up, gets himself down to the site. That kind of play, though, it actually really just scares him outside. Is keep in mind, again, nothing still has this position, so there is reason for them to actually just go directly in to the A-bomb site as well. If nothing can successfully flank all the way around towards heaven, that's a monstrous flank that they'll have to work with here. And with the addition of the kill onto Android, now it's really going to be easy for them to just try and crunch onto this. As you can see, nothing's just going to walk right up. Easy frags against Surreal. There's the site. The last two were down on B, and the round is, unless Def can pull off a miracle here, working with his teammate, the round is essentially over. And yeah, Def will get that one, but then he's traded back out. Jason R really nowhere near the action. He would have needed another like 15 to 20 seconds to get into a position to retake, so Def kind of overshooting it there.
Yeah, another eco round win, man. I mean, well, not really eco. I mean,
pretty
I know
heavy
they bought,
round, yeah.
But still, they just have like pistols. It's just, I don't know, man. Why are they so aggressive? Why is Desi in particular just so aggressive on these rounds?
Well, Jason R not even going to be able to get the one kill on Shroud to survive there, as he immediately headshots him on the peak. And no saves at all going into this next one.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is wanting to just like boost your stats. Because obviously they are not like good fights to take that lead to winning rounds cleanly, or you know what I mean? And it's not how he's playing on normal rounds generally. I know there was that one round outside, but every other round on train wasn't like that. So I just don't get it.
Things are looking rough. He needs to pad things up for if things go south and he ends up off the team.
Yeah, but there's a different, like, if you're Cloud9 and you want to stat pad a bit, go for it.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're in a match that you're probably gonna win. But when you're compLexity and you're literally battling to not be in regulation, it's like just ridiculous.
Regulation?
Relegation.
There you go. Excuse me. Got it. It's all good. But yeah, Android will find his mark this time, training at Eve openly, but with this aggressive control being taken from compLexity into the T lobby, they're able to move forward, knocking out an additional player, and now having decent control. Problem is, though, again, outside control is still very much a thing for C9 here right now. And Desi trying to swing back out here against Skadoodle, gets the frag, though, and he's just going to dip back inside. And what's even better is Jason R also picked up a kill elsewhere. Now it's all on nothing, 1v4, and he has basically no intel about what's in this site. Pretty sure Desi heard him, so yeah, he's just going to swing back out and finish the job off. And compLexity, well, they get their own taste of the eco there as they bring it right back in. And in addition to that, they get 4 free guns out of that round.
It's like you'd rather have pistols this game. Indeed.
It's seeming to be the case here.
What is going on, man?
How many ecos are we? Is that 6
I lost count.
now, I think?
I lost count.
I think it's 6.
There was...
No, it's 7, I think.
How many were there on train?
There's 3 overall on train. 2 in the favor of Cloud9, 1 in the favor of compLexity when Jason had the 1v3.
Okay. And now we've had, what, 3 or 4
We
now?
had like 3 or 4 in this map, too.
Unbelievable.
So we're like at 6 or 7 ecos so far in 2 maps played.
Yeah, I mean, most of them aren't full ecos. There's been 1 or 2 full ecos that Cloud9 won. I think there was 2 full ecos in that Cloud9. I think both full ecos were on train that they won. So 2 full ecos, and I mean, they're pistol armors generally, but still, I mean, it's just...
Still a situation where you may be able to get a couple kills and whatnot, and maybe get the bomb down, but...
I mean, you just don't expect that high of a success rate on like a pistol armor and full ecos. It's kind of ridiculous at this point.
All right, well, Cloud9 have themselves a forced investment here with 3 Tech 9s and 2 AKs. Jason are getting ready for it, though, and he'll find one, but Shroud immediately decking him afterwards. Allows for them to be able to get ramp control here and swing their way down onto the B-bomb site. Rotations are moving back downstairs, but actually they're having to funnel quite a few players into the A-bomb site over there on the C side. It's really only Desi that's sitting down here able to help out with it right now. They need to give themselves a little bit more time. Desi holds off for a first kill, though, but stays out in that hallway where nothing is going to be able to trade him. And Skadoodle picking up an additional kill into Android as they try to rotate back in. Puts this into a 2v3. Surreal, though, if he stays looking at that right doorway, he may be able to find Skadoodle, but he goes away from it here. Nothing. Great position behind the doorway on the steps there. Just peeks right up there. Surprise is Def to take him out. Now there's not really a whole lot of room for Surreal. Missing that shot basically spells his own doom. Nothing ends up with a nice 3K from the hallway there. Cloud9 right back on the train, 4-6.
Yeah, 3 pistols that round. So of course they're gonna win it. Of course they're gonna win it.
A team with more pistols just ends up better off.
Yep.
Uh-oh. All right, so that means by that logic, compLexity should win this round. Or does having 3 rifles jinx it?
I mean, that's a lot of rifles. But
just
Cloud9 has more, so easy.
That's the question. Is it whoever has more rifles overall, or is it just if you have majority rifles, does it rule out the effect of having the pistols?
That's a good point, Boo.
This is the real the jinx question, though. Well, we'll find out. As Def is actually going to get rather aggressive himself with the op here, moving through outside. And just staying in the open, too. If someone peeks him from down below, that's rough, but he gives up on it pretty quickly after not seeing any early aggression from C9, and he's wrapping back into the big warehouse here. Smoked out on top of that, so he won't be able to see the push from Automatic or anybody else. He just got completely smoked out, too, so unless he wanted to go back into that super aggressive position, there's not much that he can spot, and that's free outside control for Cloud9 without even having to kill anyone. Def basically just waiting for them to push through their own smoke there on lower. Desi also in the garage too. Lined up for 2 players, it works out great. And not only that, but Def found Automatic as the smoke on top of the box started to fade away here. Moving in, they find another kill, and it's a full 5-man alive round. So that answers our question there. It's just whoever has more pistols overall.
Yep.
That's the way the logic's working at this point.
I mean, yeah, this is something else.
But yeah, great lineup there, and I mean, really good patience from Def and the rest of those guys too, and they got completely smoked out. Be able to just wait for that to fade away, and Cloud9 didn't make the movement towards Secret as fast that time, so they were left kind of in the open, and pretty much got shut down. Cloud9 really got nothing done besides taking that outside control with the smoke. This time, though, well, look who has pistols again. It's Cloud9, and Stewie immediately walks right up to Surreal there and Juan Deeks him.
I don't think they know he's CT Secret as well.
And Skadoodle catches another one elsewhere on the elsewhere on the map.
Where was that door, maybe? I mean, he's in the back of the lobby, so...
Yeah, they may have pushed in through, like, shed or something like that.
Yep.
And Automatic, I think he might catch... I don't know if he's going to hear him.
He's going to kill him. He's going to kill him.
But the trade is going to come back in, which means still 4v2 advantage, and nothing. Had himself the line. He's just going in through the paneling right there. Not able to get it. Android finding Automatic, and this is looking like we may finally have a round where guns win over pistols here. But let's wait and see. Jason R's got a pistol in hand now, and Android going off. Nicely done. He controls it, but let's see. Nothing with the 1v2, and he does it again. Oh my god. He somehow pulls it off with a deagle, and pistols still proves to be better than rifles in this map.
Wow. I'm like, I don't know, I'm kind of just shocked here at what is happening.
Oh my goodness. And it's just going back and forth, too. Like, nobody has a clear leader. Obviously, like, compLexity has the lead, but nobody really has a clear advantage in this match right now, as it's just going all over the place. It's complete chaos here. Now, look at compLexity. They're going to get super aggressive. They move right up. Oh, my God. No, not like, what is this? Def gets 2 kills, and a third, as nothing just goes over the box. He may have a chance at a 4-2, or someone else can come in and help him with it. I correct myself. It was actually Surreal that got the 3rd kill there, but still, it's down to Skadoodle and Automatic here now to try and make something work in a 2v4. It looks like Automatic did get down underneath there towards the B bomb site, but the problem is that Skadoodle is up here still with the bomb. So Automatic is hoping to go for a secret flank, but I think someone from compLexity did turn around to watch for this, yeah. I think it's Def right now, paying attention to it. Oh, but he missed it, though. It was a little bit too far to the left, so he didn't catch the head when it peeked out. Automatic finds his mark there. That should open up a bit more of room here for Skadoodle to actually push back out. And these guys to push into Secret there and eventually get down onto the B-bomb site. So not settling this just yet.
I just can't wait till the analyst portion.
And Jason Archon Skadoodle. So now it's 1v3. And it looks like Pistols are going to win again here.
That's just CZ, you know?
Yeah, just walking right up. Automatic trying to clutch it, but can't do it. Just the pistol jinx is like is in full effect here now. But by that logic, Cloud9 should win this round more than likely. So
I mean, Cloud9's doing great. They just you get every other round on T-side. I think you end up with 7 rounds or whatever. Like, it's great.
So how many rounds? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think it's 9 rounds straight without someone winning more than 1 in a row. That's crazy that it's bounced back.
No, this
that
has
much.
been crazy. I don't think I've ever seen this before. Looks like I'm watching the Road to Global, which I'm also doing on my YouTube.
Oh, nice, nice.
If anybody wants to check it out.
All right, well, Cloud9 again, not necessarily, full, it's full pistol armor now, but they've also got full utility and everything like that too. So they do still have a pretty decent arsenal based on the way things have been rolling so far to try and win out this one, and also based on the logic we've been employing here. They're going to be looking pretty good to try and win the 14th round here and end up with at least 6 on the half for T-side, which is not bad at all.
What is this smoke, man? He's in like T-spawn. We're all just waiting
I'm curious
patiently.
as
We're all just sitting here waiting for this smoke.
I think it's just the early
The greatest smoke of all time?
EU smokes. But it is just the usual initial smoke past the red box there. Just a bit of a long range one. He's got a good arm back there, so I have him tossing that one out. But no follow-up on it at all, however. Everybody is going to go into the T lobby and try to execute here. We're also possibly shifting out towards the ramp as well. Again, running the timer down pretty low on this one, considering the type of take they're going to go for. But they still left a lot of utility in check after they tossed out those smokes. And oh,
Beautiful, Maul.
wait, what did that even hit on? It just exploded mid-air. But Cole is shutting this one down pretty quickly. Automatic found one for himself. It's down to Skadoodle. I think the pistol logic is finally going to be broken here.
Nothing was the one that was looking up at like the sky and was like, just give me a minute. I'm going to figure this out. Just like, now we see why that happened with the Molotov as well. What a game we got
This game is...
What a game.
Yeah, so compLexity looking good to control the lead here. Cloud9 just go for pretty much an identical force that we had in the last round here. They do add an extra AK to it, a little bit less utility this time. Still enough, though, to work the round. And we'll see if they can at least get the 6th up on the board before. But yeah, the 9-round streak of one team continuing, or not one team being able to win more than 1 round here finally ends, and it's compLexity that take the edge off of it. So a minor victory there, but still, letting Cloud9 get 5 rounds on T-side is certainly going to be a bit dangerous, especially with the pretty simplistic amount of tactics that compLexity bring to the table. Well, that's going to be a bit of a worry for them going on to the second half here in a few minutes.
I think Jordan just ballparks all his nades. It's just like...
This
yeah,
one looks good.
It's around here. I mean, I understand the physics, so...
Well, out go the smokes. This one should bounce his way over here to try and actually gives them a nice little U-shape here to give them really great control over here of the outside area. So this is actually pretty nice to allow them to move in and get secret control. And I don't think they have anyone on compLexity's side peeking out from heaven or anything, so they're also not really going to be able to scout from back there either. So that could throw a big fake downstairs here, but the problem is it's also drawn so much attention towards ramp or compLexity. Just shut it down. Automatic is left wondering what the heck just happened as he's shuffling through the warehouse here with only 30 seconds to go and him just having a Tech 9 armor purchase. There's not a lot of hope for him to be able to clutch out this round. We'll wait and see as he's waltzing right up now, trying to line up. He's got Def, but I think Def just salted him there, so loses that opportunity. It's the last round anyway, so it's not a big deal that he misses that kill. But yeah, it's going to be 10-5 at the end of the day in the favor of compLexity, guys. Stick around here. This is a bit of a crazy map. We'll see how things go in the second half right here at the ESL Pro League.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.
All right, and again, for the last time this evening, guys, welcome back to Cloud9 versus compLexity here at the ESL Pro League, live on Nuke at halftime with compLexity controlling the situation at 10-5. It's been like complete chaos, though, so I don't know if there's a whole lot to analyze here based on what we saw in the first half.
I mean, do you remember before this started, and I was like, man, I'm excited to watch this game, learn a couple things. I haven't played Nuke like that much.
We're gonna find out how they beat SK on this map.
Yeah, it wasn't. And then we just saw.
We saw that. Just there's no way to describe it. Again, if you weren't with us, it was 9 rounds straight where not a single team won more than 2 rounds, and the team that always won the round was the team with more pistols, like as their main weapon there. So literally nothing made sense for a good portion of that half. But we are going into it now, and both teams will have an equal amount of pistols going into the first round. So hopefully even odds, and we'll get to see if Cloud9 will have a chance to bounce back, or if compLexity can keep this going and actually, you know, find a really good upset chance here to try and take a map off of Cloud9.
Yeah, and I think this pistol is pretty critical. I don't know if Cloud9 is going to lose as many of those ecos. So they're going to go towards ramp. Stewie's going to be holding it. Drops right away.
He's still Skadoodle helping out from the Hell Hall, though, so he's just going to end up pulling away as well, though, since he is scared for Def or someone else to push it, and he's right about that one. Nothing hanging out on the outside in case they did want to aggro back over there inside of Hell, but not going to happen. Stewie's already long on here. And again, Cole got control of ramp, but they don't seem to be... They kind of got boxed in here is the problem, is now there's defenses set up down on B. They can still fall back to lobby, but going over there towards...
They can even go outside to lower if they want.
Mm-hmm. So it looks like they are going to fall back with a couple of these players. Still keeping the ramp control, of course, but Desi and one more grouping up with him go into the lobby again to see if they can find anything out there. And they are still expecting it to come really towards either site here. Only Stewie went downstairs. Skadoodle got tagged for a little bit of damage in the volley back over there in Hell. But Stewie's just out in the open. He wants to be able to relay the intel if it does end up coming back downstairs. When they do try to pressure outside, though, it's really back and forth with very much C9 favor. Skadoodle's going to move in, helps out, and bails out Shroud, too, as he was in a bit of a rough patch there. But the bomb going down, it's down to Surreal and Android to bring this back. Stewie with a great lineup, though, as he comes back up from the vents, finishes off with the last 2 kills, and it's Cloud9 that went up the pistol here.
Yeah, and they're just hitting upper with 3 players while Surreal and Android are like, 10 seconds away. So, the attack was disjointed, but it wasn't even disjointed because of Cloud9. They just didn't group up before they hit it. And because of that, it was pretty easy for Cloud9 to win. I mean, they have time to reload, they have time for the rotates to come. By the time the other 2 guys there, you're literally just hoping that those 3 guys that hit upper right away win the round.
Android gonna go hunting here to see if he can find nothing early on, and he does.
Please don't start this.
There's no way that this is gonna happen again. Started off, okay, it's just 1. We can still control it from here. But that is going to open up outside completely for compLexity here if they want to take control of it. As they do move in, Jason R didn't even take a whole lot of damage in the battle that he found himself into. Only brought down to 68 HP. They're still gonna end up funneling through, it looks like, over here towards ramp, where Stewie is waiting, but just not able to catch any of them because of the smoke in his way right now. The minute and 10, though, all of the options are still open for compLexity here to try and utilize, and they're playing extremely passively here with this time remaining. Not making any moves after we saw Android getting out there and finding that first kill. We are going to see that they shuffle back in. The Molotov goes down, but I think it's a little bit too late here. Everybody already got past it, so it basically has 0 effect.
Do you see how when Stewie goes down ramp, he goes on the right side?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember Jason went on the left side, and that's why he got caught? So whenever you guys drop ramp, drop close to the right side and go off on the right side.
Skadoodle's able to hold on there against Def to be able to take him out at the very least. So defending that portion of the map evens us back out into a 4v4. And it looks like Desi's going to just go back up the ladder and challenge him here. Skadoodle's ready for it, though. He's got his pistol, just hangs his body out to dry there and sends it back downstairs. And they just do the same thing over on the other side. Shroud and Surreal trading out a couple blows. It's left into a 2v3 after everything is done Again, it's a bit more chaotic across the map here, but they are going to resolve to just head downstairs and try for a B play. Cloud9 know this is happening, though. They've already got Stewie holding onto the left side here. Andrews doesn't care, though. He just walks right past. Thankfully, Stewie is repositioning. There's Jason R with the Deagle, finding one. Trying to get one as he drops back down, but Shroud holds it now. Android has the Deagle, and we've seen him do work with this in the past, but no! Fails to realize that Skadoodle had pushed out from the vents, and he'll be able to keep it in the control of Cloud9 here at the start of the half. Phew. Yeah, we almost went right back into that cycle.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised if compLexity buys again. It's very, very possible. So we'll see. I mean, they could drop AKs if they want. They can get 3 Galils with 2 pistols.
I'm thinking about
they have a lot of options.
Looks like right now, though, they're just going to end up going for Deagles and seeing if they can.
Good option too.
Yeah, based on the first half. But yeah, just 3 Deagle investments, and then Surreal and Jason R. Jason R buys a smoke, but after that, really nothing else being picked up here. It's fast outside, though, so they have a pretty good chance to try and overwhelm nothing if they catch him in the open here. And he is falling back, swings out there, and there you go. Def finds nothing right out in the open.
He's
and
already down
what?
lower.
How did he get past them in the A site? He had to have gone for a vent drop somehow. They take him out pretty quickly, though. So now the problem is they're already defusing the bomb in the site here, and they're trying to wrap back in, but I don't even think they can stop it. Stewie just picking up massive amounts of kills right now as he did jump off the bomb, or they did jump off the bomb for a second, but yeah, they take out pretty much everyone on the T side before they even get back into the site, so that one was a little weird.
2 1Ds in a row, 2 1D entries in a row though on nothing. So he's gotta just spot and play a little bit more passive. It's really easy to kill those guys 1Ding if you get like a flash from CT Heaven and then you peek, you know, at the right time or something like that. Have a guy spot from CT Heaven, then maybe peek Big Garage. If you really want to challenge, but just challenging like right away isn't good. So because what generally happens is those deglers, they clear a spot, then they just wait, they hold it for a little bit, then they go clear another spot, right? So they'll clear Big Garage, right? They'll do that, and then if you just like wait till the CT Heaven guy sees them, and then you peek Big Garage, a lot of the time, you know, you can get like easy kills instead of just challenging them directly.
Well, now compLexity. Again, after, you know, after that, just a little investment there and how far they actually got into that round, of course. We're still going to see them with the plant being able to full buy into the 4th round here with utility and AKs. Unfortunately, no op is going to be present. Not too big of a deal, though, based on the way that things have been playing out so far. Cloud9 pretty much on full rifle, as you can see, the exception being Skadoodle there with the Scout, but they're already upgrades. They're not going to be having to deal with that problem of still being on like SMGs and whatnot here. And compLexity even slowed down their push into Secret a little bit here, so to avoid getting dated back out, but nothing. Waits there and he gets the spot, so he takes down one, and promptly, with that kill being found, Automatic tosses in the smoke. He's going to be here to challenge Def or anyone else from the compLexity side that will attempt to push forward against him here. Molly, yeah, it went down, so it is burning next to him, but Automatic's in the smoke, so he's not going to be affected by it. Skadoodle and Stewie, meanwhile, back over there towards the ramp room, pick up 2 for themselves. Automatic will want to get traded out, but at the end of the day, it's all left to Android here to clutch 1v4, and it's just not looking logical. So as he basically waits for his impending doom to come towards him here. Cloud9 have really no reason to over-aggress towards him, considering that they're still just working on building their own economy here. And the Molly does force nothing kind of out and around the corner where Android can finally finish him off. He was working on getting that kill for a good 20 seconds there. So it's good that he, at the very least, finally picks that one up. But now the remaining 3, with only 15 seconds remaining, it's basically going to be impossible to pull that off. And I don't think that Shroud is sitting directly behind him, so he is going to be able to escape into hell here, or Stewie, excuse me, directly behind him, and save the weapon as nobody else proceeded outside to chase him down. But that's pretty much the only thing he'll get away with here.
Yeah, so Cloud9 almost has it tied up. I believe that was 3 outside, 2 towards ramp, just going to try to split towards inner. Cloud9 reads it, though. Automatic rotates. The cross smokes aren't connected, so nothing gets a kill on Surreal while he's trying to cross. I mean, but now they have their full buy because they have 2 Tech 9s.
Yeah, we'll see. As they're going to funnel pretty quickly over here towards the doorways. Molotov comes in at perfect timing, though, to try and counter them back out over here in this direction, and that sends them reeling back in towards the lobby here, where they're probably going to have to form a plan B, as this initial attempt to push back out and get fast A control, or just do some sort of event dive, has pretty much failed. There's already good presence waiting for them on the ramp and across the rest of the map here, too, so having used some of their utility already to try to get into that. All they really have left are their smokes. Use other Molotovs and whatnot here. Jason R just goes raw directly over there towards the ramp room, though, and he finds the entry he needs on his Stewie. No one's going to contest from hell in time. Nothing really, just hugging the wall and making sure they don't go over there towards heaven to try and get that control so they can go back into A, as that was their initial plan. So with that control, they're going to swing back in. Surreal's hanging out over here outside right now to punish any early rotations through Secret. But beyond that, compLexity is looking to go and get control as per usual. And the only one challenging it down here is going to be Automatic, as he sits just outside of the new Toxic room. And he weans himself around the corner here. Android, pick on the ball, though, does find that pickup. And again, allows for compLexity to get back inside and get the plant here, where it's now going to be a 3v5 on the retake for Cloud9.
Yeah, this retake is almost impossible, especially when Scudo dies to Shiro right there, so they'll save right away. compLexity winning that round with the 2 Tech 9s.
Right back to it.
Yep, and, you know, but that's not too bad of a buy. I mean, they just kind of go ramp, take it, go towards the lower. Automatic gets a little bit out of position. And yeah, the lower site, once you have it planted like that and the rotation is not even like in lower or anything, it's almost an impossible retake.
Yeah, so compLexity just barely keeping their lead together here now, as they will push up to 11. Cloud9, however, I still think are going to be in good shape to be able to buy into this next round. They still have plenty of cash, and Shroud is in excess of 6,300 after saving, so he should be able to donate. And he is pretty much full utility too, so I'm pretty sure he can donate both rifles.
Yeah, absolutely.
They'll end up getting tossed back over. He'll donate an op, actually. He just throws that right over to Stewie, so.
I think that's smarter. I'd rather have an ump and an op than 2 and 4s myself.
So they will have that presence. Interesting note, again, not going into the hands of Skadoodle right now. It is going to go over here towards Stewie, as he does try to push himself very quickly over towards the ramp room to defend that. That's been a hot spot for compLexity players to push towards. They themselves, again, are trying to look out towards the door, but Cloud9 are not really going to give them much to play with here. They just hold back into these standard default held back positions, and big smoke going over the top here, which is going to cut things off on the crossover here from the red box behind outside. But now beyond this, where is the game plan actually going to go for compLexity? We've seen this plenty of times where they throw a smoke in one direction and go for the other one here. But Stewie, well, he just gets an easy shot onto Surreal as they blind peek him with no flashbang support or any sort of utility here. They end up smoking off this avenue now. And all the CTs will just toss a Molotov in their own smoke right back in there. As again, compLexity really being limited here and not being given a whole lot of options to actually get out onto a site or really any significant map control. It looks like, again, that compLexity are going to try to go for some sort of the vent dive here, just try to get past this smoke. Automatic knows it, though, and actually the smoke isn't even perfect to the point where... Oh, but he misses, like, all three of them, actually, just lets them walk right by him as he got pushed back into the corner. He even misses the vent when he tries to follow them. Thankfully, nothing's downstairs. He'll pick up one against Death, and now, very quickly, they don't even see Automatic goes up that close, so he walks in and just completely dominates the play, or the attempt at a play to get over there and get downstairs for control. Now with only 20 seconds left, Jason R. Good spin around catch, but he walks right into 2 more players. Wait, yeah, how did he even get the second one? I didn't even see that one. Somehow edges off the headshot, you know, in the millisecond before he was taken down by the firing squad in the vent hall.
Yeah. Started some nice shots, man.
But unfortunately, Automatic still comes in and pretty much kills the hit due to them not accounting for him playing in that corner position. It's a good thing that he remained quiet and didn't actually go for the kills when they initially went for that vent drop either, as that keeps him a bit of a mystery and doesn't allow for compLexity to really watch out for that quick of a hit from behind them. Now again, though, going into it, compLexity still having enough cash flow to be able to buy into this round with full AKs and utility. The op still sitting in the hands of Stewie over there on the Cloud9 side, as they are trying to still close this gap. There's one round away from doing it, however, as this game has remained very, very close, and even into the second half has continued to do so, as compLexity certainly not showing up, but just striking out immediately here on the T side, like some may have thought.
Yeah, slowing it down, probably going to do outside nades. I believe that's just one lurker in lobby. 3 towards outside, throwing all their nades. Counter molly comes out from nothing.
They're going to
kind of delay them.
Past that, though, so it's not too big of a deal. I think getting some good damage spray.
Well, there's a gap in the smoke, and he sees when they're crossing, so he knows.
Unfortunately, the smokes from compLexity are not going to be perfect here, and now that allows them to get downstairs, but with the loss of about half the HP off of 2 of their own players here. Desi knocking out Shroud here now as they start to move back down. And again, there's no follow-up into the site just yet. They'd have to deal with Stewie back over here on the steps themselves. So they do go actually back up. And I think with that additional kill, they are going to try to play over here for Inner instead. Automatic finding one, but Surreal and Def traded right back due to Def having Heaven control. And now it's up to Stewie, who was going to be the one defending against the B-play, but now look at him sneaking back in here. Nobody has any clue that he has control over here. Vents, I think they're going to check for it. Beautiful quick scope and right back down into the vents here as he now retreats into the hallway. 15 seconds left. They will still be able to get the plan, obviously, as it's on the site here. They're a little bit on edge as he just retreats out through Heaven. I think he's going to re-enter through Garage. Maybe Heaven actually might go for the jump up there if he can find the positioning to do it. So right now, nobody has decided to scout out in that direction, and I am curious if either Def or Surreal are currently watching for that at the moment. Both are paying attention to other routes. As he does sneak back up, though, here's going to be his first real test if he can peek out cleanly without being seen, and neither of them are paying attention to it. Oh! And just at the last moment, actually, Surreal does turn in the other direction, sees him, takes him down, and allows for complexity to close out on it. Retaining their lead again here, and also re-breaking Cloud9.
Yeah, they did re-break them, or reset their economy, and Cloud9, they could buy if they want to. We'll see, it's kind of a judgment call here. They decide to save. They feel like they could buy next round, put complexity on 13, but then have a much better buy and kind of win out from there.
Well, Cloud9 is working with Deagles here. We'll see if they can continue the pistol upset thing that's been going on here. Although it seems to have jinxed itself in the second half, and we haven't seen it come into effect nearly as much. Just maybe 1 or 2 rounds here. But Desi, nice lineup here, gets one. Looking for the second. Skadoodle backing up, though. I don't think he's going to directly challenge it. And Desi kind of missed the window on it. Skadoodle wanted to go back in, though, but yeah, no one really trying to go for it. There's nothing, though, on the outside. Getting his revenge for some action earlier in the half. That's all he is able to get, though, is just that one. And Automatic also goes hunting. No dice. He's forced back inside of Garage and in towards A. We're at long range. They're up in Heaven. Shroud tries to battle it out, but he's taken down by Jason R here. And now Skadoodle, unlucky with the USP. Just not hitting any shots outside that range, so Android's going to take him down. And now Automatic. We'll see what he can do, but against 3 players, not much. Pretty clean round there for complexity overall as they push it up to 13.
Yeah, so this is a round Cloud9 save for, but this is kind of a make-or-break round right here. They need to convert off this. If they don't, they're going to be down to, I believe, 2,400. Complexity will be up 14-10. And they actually, okay, so again, I talk about this all the time. Why not invest that much in the round before and then have that full save this round if you lose that round?
Well, they have made that decision here for Cloud9 not to buy up this time, and they're going to wait till they have the full firepower with the op and everything else included. Probably full utility on that too. But this time, again, just working with pistols didn't really work out too well for them in the last round. You have to hope that complexity does play into it a little bit more, suspecting that it's going to be slower played from the CTs with full gun power being the case. And that is not going to be the way that things play out here as Shroud goes hunting with a deal. That does reveal that the full buy is not yet in check here for Cloud9. But for complexity, again, splitting up their players 3-2. Last time they tried this, they actually got the players over there at ramp got pretty much destroyed right from the beginning of their push. And the guys in secret weren't able to get anything done. Look at nothing going for a quick chase onto them. Stewie up close in the smoke, and he does destroy that entire ramp push. And even if he failed, there was a flank coming in from lobby just 2 seconds later. So they get themselves in. The problem is now, though, is they don't have anybody really positioned to immediately counter out the B play like they had in the previous round. But look at nothing. Walking up to the backside. Andrew's not looking out for this right now. He's currently paying attention to the ladder. So Waltz is right up, gets the instant headshot, and he prevents the plant from going down onto the ground. So beautifully done by C9. And now Def will have to hold on 1v4 with only 30 seconds remaining, and it's not going to look good. He may be able to surprise against Stewie or one of these other players, but oh, the molly even goes into the vents to deny him. Saving maybe his only option now as he does head back upstairs, and he's just going to retreat towards T-spawn.
Yeah, so Cloud9 winning that round. The pistols are back in action.
Yeah.
We see it happen again. How many is that, though?
Well, I mean, so we had the 9 straight, right?
Yeah.
Plus the, I would say, 5-ish before that. So in these 2 maps, we're looking at anywhere between like 10 and 15 rounds that have been won off of just pistols. With, granted, obviously, some leeway here and there that would have invested into at least some rifles.
This is crazy, though.
And a pause will come in, assumably for complexity.
Yeah, they're going to be able to full buy.
But the real question is here now, what's the winning strat for them? As, again, Cloud9, even though compLexity has been, holding on to things on this T side here, they've been able to keep their lead going. It's just a little bit that they've been able to hold on to in terms of the scoreline here. It's nothing like the lead is slowly kind of crumbled as if I remember correctly, they started off like 10-5 here at the half, and they've slowly lost control of it.
I heavily favor Cloud9 right now. I think this is like, I put Cloud9 as like 80% favorites right now, like 80-20. At 11-13 with a fully bought CT side economy right now, picking up those 4 AKs, just knowing how to close out games a lot better than compLexity, having a little bit of leeway with the rounds. I think Cloud9's in a pretty decent spot.
And that is probably the discussion here for compLexity is, okay, guys, how do we actually close out on this one? How do we win out the things here and prevent Cloud9 from upsetting us? But it's certainly not going to be easy. As it's been really, even into the second half, as you can see, no one's really had a consistent streak of rounds, and even when we have seen them, it was at the beginning with Cloud9 winning up the first 4 there. It wasn't until after that compLexity finally got themselves into the action. So it should be unpausing in a moment here, as compLexity are going to be running out of time any second. And they will have to go back into this next round.
It's a long pause, man. Normally,
I don't think
it's 30 seconds usually, right? But you could use multiple. 3?
I don't really know how that works in online games. I don't know if it's longer in online games or not, or if people are just stacking them together. I actually should probably check on that because it always seems like it's
probably our
different
job to know.
every
But
few games, yeah.
But
Well, the problem is like if you're gonna do the 30-second pause thing, you're technically supposed to enforce the coach talking thing too, but you can't really enforce that in online games, so do you even enforce the pausing thing, which is still pretty, contested? It's a hot issue. But at the beginning of this round, Automatic's already been able to find Jason R, so Cloud9 starting themselves off and getting a bit of an advantage to work for on them. compLexity do get themselves the smoke train going on here to allow themselves to push back up. Nothing, somehow didn't see Surreal sitting up on top of the smoke. It looked like he was just right on the open, but he didn't actually catch it. He was staying completely still. And while there was a gap in the smoke there for the cross, nobody was there to punish it. So compLexity do get quite a few of their players down into secret here, prep for some type of a B execute. And Def has gone exploring towards Heaven as well to see if he can impact on a couple of the A players. They haven't spotted into Nothing or anyone else that's really positioned in the back of outside, however, trying to remain sneaky, and it's for good reason too, is now they can impact when compLexity sort of second-guess themselves on the B hit. Def coming in from Heaven, though, does get the trade on the Shroud, and now they are trying to knock Nothing out. They could just try and smoke him back out or something like that, but the problem is all this attention being drawn to it. Now it's a line for players that are still in the A site to impact, and what's even worse is now some of the B guys are looking back up here too. In comes Stewie from Secret, he drops the bomb, and it's all on the Def in a 1v4, and he has no, advanced positioning on anybody from Cloud9 anymore. He's going to try to roll back down, but Skadoodle just wrecks him.
yeah, and Cloud9 wasn't even watching Heaven, so Depp got up there, got a free kill. But, I mean, it's 4v5 at the very start of the round because of Automatic. I think he probably killed him while Jason R was looking hut window, if I had to guess, since Automatic is playing Squeaky. And they can't capitalize off of any of that, right? Like, Depp gets up in Heaven unnoticed. They try to come towards Mini, but Nothing's just in a really good position in Big Garage, kind of watching for it and just stops anything they want to do.
Yeah, so compLexity now, again, without really any real gunpowder here, we're going to have to hope that they can eco upset again. And this time, again, it's not one of those half-bought rounds where we have armor sitting behind the pistols and decent utility. This is a full-on eco with just the pistols now. Def goes hunting early on there on top of the catwalk, but won't be able to grab anything. Desi's going to be grouping up with him in a second, though, as he pushes very directly forward, but just ends up going right into his own death at the hands of Nothing. Nothing even prepped for a secondary push to come back in his direction here as he hides out in the locker rooms by Hell. I think he saw the hand of the pistol from Def, I think, but then got distracted as Surreal was able to swing back out from the corner on catwalk and take him down. So evenly traded, back down into a 4-on-4. Def's attempt to boost himself into Heaven, though, doesn't really go that right as Automatic takes him down. It looks like Cloud9 back in real great control of things. It's all that's really left is 2 Glock players and Jason R with a Deagle at 7 HP. Surreal being sneaky, though, and I'm not Automatic out in the open just yet, but even when he does, Automatic still has much, much better gun power, taking him down. And now the last 2, I imagine, will make some last attempt at try and push either over there towards ramp or out of the shed. But as they work in towards shed, Skadoodle is going to be waiting downstairs on the site. So there's really not a whole lot of hope here. More than likely, we are just looking at 13-13. Cloud9 finally tying up the score.
Yeah, they're going to tie up the score, and if we could check out their money for a second, it's pretty solid. I mean, so they're probably going to be able to buy out for the rest of the game. or around there at least.
Stewie taking out Android allows for Cloud9 to carry on there, finishing off the engagement. But compLexity back on the buy this time, and we will see as they'll get one of their last buys, as they're still working to build up a losing bonus due to how inconsistent the traded rounds have been between the two teams. It hasn't been very streaky at all, like we kind of were back on the first map there. This time it's been much more back and forth, and this hasn't really allowed for the T's to be able to build up a big losing bonus to try and win off these rounds off of. They drop this one, they're going right back onto an eco more than likely, and all they would have left, assuming they don't upset that eco round, is going to be the 15th round for Cloud9.
So 5 AKs for compLexity. This is like their default. They just put 2 lobby, 3 outside. They try to do secret control, and then it looks like they want to go towards ramp usually. I mean, I'm sure they have the options off of it, right, where they throw the smokes, go back towards inner, throw the smokes, maybe split mini, throw the smokes, get down, and then come back up and go inner and things like that. So I think they threw the smokes outside, and now we're going to go inner.
They're going to try to shuffle 3 in through the shed, though, which could prove dangerous, but Trout's not even paying attention to it, so they waltz right in, and there was nobody to support him there either.
For retake.
So now this is going to put 2 in heaven for C9, but look at Def, he's ready for this one. The Molotov comes out far too late, and he even gets a dink, I think, on the Scoodoodle through the paneling there, which leaves him at 9 HP, so he's going to be incredibly low and has to back out, and I think that's a save call, as everybody else is just running away.
It should be a safe call, yeah. I'm not sure what Cloud9 setup is. It looked like Shroud was outside or inner by himself, but it looked like he was watching Mini, right?
Mm-hmm.
So did they not have outside presence while he's watching Mini? It just, not sure. Because, usually if you just have one person upper, it means you have like 2 people outside. Maybe you have 2 people outside and 1 secret or something like that. And you're really trying to kill them when they come outside first. And then you don't have to worry about them. It looked like he was worrying about Mini.
Stewie at the very least holds on and even gets super aggressive there and leaps down to find a 3rd kill. So pulls that off and at least causes some decent damage and a lot of rebuys onto the T side here. I think Cloud9's money was in a good enough spot to where they should be able to reinvest this round, and that's why compLexity went hunting. They wanted to make it as expensive as possible, but it kind of fired back.
Yeah, definitely fired back, because Cole now, if they win this round, this game's probably over. compLexity's going to have terrible money. Well, I say that, but the way this game's going, it'd probably be a blessing for compLexity if they lose this round, because then they just get the pistol.
But right now, compLexity, again, is going back into what we usually see from them. Pretty passive opener, not really taking any risks here to try and get map control. Probably going to see some outside swing from them, but beyond that, nothing being utilized here within the first few seconds.
Yeah, just kind of trying to wait out their pre-smokes or maybe pre-mollies and things like that. But Cloud9's doing a good job of just saving their utility. Here comes the wall smokes on outer. Nothing throws his Molotov afterwards. That hasn't done one thing yet. And this time I think it went to the smokes, because it just always goes past the gate. So maybe you got to stop throwing that. It's literally just doing nothing. It's just a waste of $800 or $600.
Well, compLexity got themselves up to secret again due to pretty passive outside presence from C9 here. Nothing tried to re-aggress into the warehouse, but he got taken down by Def. So looking good for Cole again to kind of pull ahead here. They just need to follow through and make sure they don't slip up and over-rotating or trying to do something too tactical here. A little bit of back and forth, but it does leave it even now in a 3v3. As Stewie, Scoodoodle picking up kills at the same time, but Android also traded onto one of them there to take out Stewie. Now Def working his way around through hell there is going to work on kind of an early flank, I would imagine, to try and see if he can catch anyone going back over here towards the ramp route. But there's no one there, which actually could prove to be a pretty bad thing if Cloud9's re-entries end up going well from the start of it here. And yeah, it does. So he needs to race back down to ramp quickly, as it's only Jason R on the site currently. Cloud9 taking a slow follow-up after they do pick up that kill. And Def arriving just in time to find Shroud peeking out from the vents over there. Jason R almost had himself the double lineup back-to-back. In fact, now Scoodoodle's just going to jump right onto the bomb. And Def, are you going to peek it? We're going to see you go out there. He's moving for it now. And Scoodoodle, he jumps off of the bomb and allows for Def to close out on him. So compLexity will pick it back up. And now they go up to map point.
What did I tell you, man? Nuke has upset potential.
It has, chaos theory more alive.
This game has been one of the most chaotic games I've ever seen. It's settled down in the past,
this half's been a little more normal.
7-8 rounds or so. It's really settled down a lot. But my goodness, this has been so back and forth, so chaotic.
And immediately Desi, look at this from Stewie. He's still going to go past the Molotov directly over the top of it and hops his way through into the first kill here to take down Desi. They needed some heroics here to bring them back into the game, and they found it. And now, well, without that ramp control, which has been a huge piece of complexity's T side overall, what exactly are they going to try and do? More than likely, we can see it now. They are going to try to move back in and hope that they didn't have as much pressure on outside because they made such a big swing there from the ramp room. Jason are basically waiting to see if Stewie's going to go through, but I think now that he's gotten control of the trophy room, I doubt, at least not until we see a hit from compLexity, that
You have the funniest callouts, because like to me that's always going to be radio.
Yeah, it's well,
Always.
It doesn't look like a radio room at all anymore, though. So you can call it like old radio, is what I would sometimes say. But it's a trophy room now. It's right there. See?
But let's be honest. That's probably what it says when you hit the radio commands. It's like, you know, it says where your model is.
Well, somehow this is silo where Stewie is right now. Actually, I think everything's solid. I think it might be glitched. But anyway, more action going back on here as compLexity are being eliminated, but Surreal battling it back a bit, bring it to a 2v2 with nothing knocking it out. It's Surreal that has to try and close it out here. Keep in mind, compLexity's money not in a great place right now. Their force is not going to be a full one if they try to go into the next round without Surreal at the very least saving here now. We're trying to win out the round outright. He gets himself inside, made a lot of noise in the process though, and nothing does close out upon it, taking us to round number 30 to decide if it's OT or 16-14 for Cole.
So back to pistols.
Looking good for compLexity then.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but Cloud9, I mean, they have everything they need to force it into overtime. Stewie just opened up that round in just really cool fashion, man. Just bunny hops through the Molotov. He's in a really dangerous spot, though. If he misses, if Desi jiggle peeks a little bit more and Stewie shoots and then misses, like, he has no fallback, right? What is he going to run through a Molotov to run away? He's probably just going to have to fight. And then, obviously, close range like that after you miss an op, Desi should be able to capitalize.
Yeah, but, I mean, he gets that kill, and nobody from compLexity even tries to challenge him. They just let him hold control of that for the entire round. And it, unfortunately, seems to trip up compLexity pretty badly as they get themselves into a battle in lobby way, but he's able to contribute even more there. And now, well, the smoke obviously holding things off for a little bit on compLexity, but I think they're still going to end up going back to the ramp play here. They've got everybody lined up in radio, trying to push their way out, and now again the Molotov just rolls right in. Skadoodle even finding Def right at the opener here, and they're still just stuck again. There's no backup plan or anything like that, even though they've been delayed. A lot of this is going to fall. Now the Molotov is faded. They actually, again, cancel the plans to go towards ramp and are now going to try to push out over here into the inner bomb site and see if they, or the upper bomb site, and see if they can get some control here. Jason are first up to bat, but just swings right into Automatic here. Take him down. Automatic may have a chance for some more kills. Android found one, but went down directly after that. Desi swinging back in, but he was the last one standing, so Cloud9 tied up. And we do indeed end up in overtime to decide this second map.
No better fitting way. Just the most back and forth.
The good news is you probably won't see too many pistols anymore.
That's
true.
true.
So we don't.
That is true.
It should be pretty normal. Well, I say normal. It should be normal gun
Pretty
rounds.
surprised that compLexity is tying Cloud9 on this right now, and I think there's Cloud9. I don't know, man. I'm not sure what their issue is on this map. I'd have to watch more, definitely. But I mean, you know, caliber of team-wise, right? Of course, Cloud9 should be able to beat compLexity nearly every time.
Yeah, but not the case. compLexity was able to carry it forward, and now...
Yeah, compLexity basically set up the same way every single round. Just 2 lobby, wait out their smokes. Once they use their smokes, throw 3 smokes outside, and then you just play off of that. Every single round, pretty much the same thing. But Cloud9 playing like a very static sort of CT side too. I don't see that much like adaptation coming out of them. Maybe, you know, I think if you get aggressive outside, you could probably win a round. When they're throwing those 3 smokes, you know, once they throw those 3 smokes, maybe you get an aggro lobby. You could do that. I think there's a couple of adaptations that you could probably do to take advantage of that, because it's just, I mean, they're doing it every round pretty much.
Well, we are into it now, and in case, again, anyone is curious about the format for OT here, it's fairly normal. MR3, a sequence of 6 rounds. You need to win 4 out of 6 of those to be able to win the match, and it is going to be 10K start money on each sequence of 3 out of 6 of those rounds. So, switching sides, of course, at the half. But getting into it here now, and again, no pistols, thankfully. But compLexity, just look at Def just walking right up, no smokes or anything. It's not just him either. He's got Jason R with him. He's another teammate. I think it's Desi sitting directly behind him as well. So, yeah, not wasting any time here right at the start of this round here. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out too great for them as Android and Jason are taking some massive damage in addition to the loss of Def here. They finally took down nothing, but it was after he was able to go in there and pick up 2 kills for himself from outside. So his job's certainly done. They gave up outside control, but now they've got a 4v3 advantage here, and they should know at least where 2 out of 3 of these guys are positioned. As compLexity, they got outside, but they don't really have anything else to work with. Stewie's even going to move back up and aggress, but Surreal is waiting for him, so just like that, we're back down even again to a 3v3.
Surreal making a big impact. I think that's one of the things that compLexity misses a lot, is just Surreal. A lot of the time, it just seems like he kind of disappears with that op, but Jason can get just a free kill onto Skadoodle if he peeks right now.
He's waiting for it, but Skadoodle has now gone back and is paying attention to a peek in his direction here, so won't be as free anymore. Really just swinging back and forth. It'll come down to timing on the peek from Jason R if he even wants to go for it. The guys from compLexity playing very static right now, but Skadoodle, it does end up working out for him as he peeks directly into it as Jason R swung out into the open, taking him down. Now compLexity are up 2 and 1. It's all on Surreal to ace clutch this as well. He won't have to pull off the ace, and now a 1v3 sitting in front of him, as he just decides to sneak in towards the upper site and see if he can knock it off. Shroud, we'll have to deal with him in a moment, but it's actually automatic that peeks at just the right time. It finds him, and allows for Cloud9 to get the first round in OT.
Yeah, I don't know, that should be such an easy kill on Skadoodle, not necessarily by peeking him like that or trying to even go off timing, but if his teammates do anything anywhere else on the map and he reacts off them, Skadoodle's going to be rotating, and then he just gets a free kill. So if he had his teammates around Mini, which obviously they could get to, right? And maybe like just taking a pop shots or jiggle peeking and throwing their nades, then Skadoodle is going to go towards heaven, towards the ladder, and then he's just going to shoot him in the back, and he's going to be able to go up heaven, and they could play it off that. I don't know why the first move that they make in order to win that 3v3 is that. That's not what it should be. It should be his teammates opening it up for him.
Stewie's going to see the fast ramp play working in his direction here, so he dips out of there. Doesn't really get a whole lot done. As you can see, he tried to take the battle, but now the guys from compLexity know that, hey, you've been spotted. Unfortunately, missed nade there, but hopefully doesn't end up impacting them too negatively. Skadoodle, though, catches the first frag of the round here against Def. I think that's a little bit detached from the main push, but Stewie very well contained inside of Toxic here. Gets himself into a battle versus Jason R, and then just swings the door shut. They're going to try to challenge it, but he doesn't want to challenge it. Lets the door open again, gets himself another kill, and look, he got the bomb as well. So he's got control of that. Now he's going to make it even more chaotic by smoking it out. And, well, what do you know? The cavalry's arrived. Cloud9 rotate back downstairs, and Desi probably doesn't have a hope in the world of winning this one.
Yeah, 1 versus 4, bomb in a smoke with Stewie.
His natural environment.
Yep.
But yeah, Cloud9 again onto a good streak, and it seems like they finally kind of have gotten good control of the CT side here now. And for compLexity, well, hold on, we said there wouldn't be pistols, but that may not hold true. We're going to see a few here since compLexity just outright lost the first 2 rounds here. It doesn't mean they have to force into the last one. Only 1 AK onto Desi. Jason R a bit late to the party, but he buys into a Tech 9 as well. So it's going to be 3 pistols. Let's see if this changes up the dynamic at all.
So Depp gonna, let's see, where does he want to go with that scout? I think he's just going, yep, so top Twinkie. So he just wants to kind of challenge this Opper. Maybe get a nice headshot angle on him.
Well, it's going to be Def again, as we said before, kind of hunting early on here. But no one from Cloud9 peeking out into the open to challenge it here. Stewie actually is looking toward his teammate when he just gets knocked out by Desi. Thankfully, nothing's here as well, supporting from Hell, and now he can try to molly it back off. And that's going to come in just in time, but he wide peeks it. The molly ends up working out, though. Android just waltzes through it, so burns himself down. And off of that, that leaves it into a 3v3 here now, with compLexity having control of ramp room. They probably are going to follow through with it here, too. I think just waiting a few moments to see if anyone else tries to aggress out from Hell. Even downstairs, you still have automatic waiting. Not inside of the Toxic room, though, but on that left little alcove next to the ramp there, where he can try to hide behind the box and then play out against that.
Yeah, you usually call that dark spot. And they made it even better now that there's that box there.
Yeah, because you can actually hide in a corner.
Yep.
Unless they peek from the top. It's not as easy to get you out. But he moves from that position now since compLexity, again, really are fans of, like, you know, taking this early aggression and then keeping them quiet until the very last second where they try to go all in on one of the 2 sites. And they'll try to do it again, but for the most part, it does end up still working out for Cloud9 here. Surreal, he's got 10 seconds and he's going to prioritize the bomb plant. They can hear that, though, and Skadoodle's just going to chase him down. Won't even get the plant. And Cloud9 win it out and go 3 straight on OT, meaning they only need to win 1 of these remaining 3 to close out.
Yeah, nice half by Cloud9 there. Just kind of, I don't know, complexity. They really went away from their default, though. First gun round, they just kind of rushed outside as fast as they could, instead of, like, you know, trying to take it slow and methodically.
Yeah, it still feels like the play style overall on T-side from complexity was generally the same, and that they were never really like assertive enough with their pushes. They would always just haphazardly take part of the map and then never follow through with it and going straight forward.
Well, the problem with them is, like, they actually were set up pretty well in that 5v5 CS aspect, like at the start of rounds and stuff like that, but any type of mid-round was just no real good communication, people not in the right spots at the right time. You know, remember on, like, their pistol round, for instance, the 3 guys just kind of ran out upper, and then they died, and then, like, 10 seconds later, 2 more guys come out the hut. It just didn't, you know, it didn't make much sense like that. And then really when you're playing Nuke, a lot of it comes off, like, you need to let your teammates alleviate pressure from you. So whenever you're lurking, like we saw Depp in a couple positions that he was, or Jason R was, you usually don't tell your team to just wait for me. It's a lot better to tell your team on Nuke in general to be like, okay, make presence somewhere, and then I'm going to flank. Because then you get the defense moving, and they're not worrying about their back as much, right? Instead of you making, like, the first move. You can capitalize off your teammates kind of just making noise somewhere and showing presence, you know, elsewhere on the map.
Well, we are back into it here now, and again, money has been reset, so both teams up to full buys here. Complexity, though, they got to take this double OT, otherwise, if they win even one of these rounds, they're out of the running, and they are going to end up losing this map and go 0-2 on the evening. Stewie just waltzing in past the Molotov here. The CTs haven't even tried to regress through the smoke, though, to make up for it here, as they're trying to get some damage out, but just pot shots through the smoke. They're not finding anything at all. Cloud9 have gotten themselves with full control of the upper bomb site here, without even really having to lift a finger. Stewie goes in, gets 1 kill, and that's it. Desi tries to wrap back in, gets himself a frag, but it's just 1 trade. Chase and R just falls after taking massive damage from somewhere, probably. Ends up dying to the fall damage. And for now, on Def and Surreal's burning somewhere there over in heaven, it looks like, yeah. And they end up taking down Def. Surreal, they didn't know he was up here a moment ago, but they do now. And it's actually a really clean round to close it out. So there you have it, Cloud9 finally putting an end to this map here. They take it into OT, but they do end up winning it out in a straight 4-round streak, and they will end up 2-0 for the evening.
That was a pretty crazy game, man. That last round, just that upper rush, just Stewie goes in. I don't know, they got, you know, caught behind the smoking mini. Just, you're never going to retake upper in that situation because they just have every smoking Molotov and flashbang to hold you off for, like, even if the bomb was a minute long, you know, it would be a pretty tough time to retake.
All right, well, to close out the evening, of course, we're going to bring the analysts back into the discussion. Let's see if they can break down, specifically in that first half there, what was going on, and if any of it made sense. Guys, let's get your thoughts on the final map tonight here.
So let me get this straight. Complexity, 10-5 at half. Didn't close it out.
Didn't close it out. Has to be said, obviously, Cloud9 managed to win that second half pistol. Obviously, a big part of why they managed to get it back, but like that first half was just something out of Narnia or something. I don't even know.
Narnia. Nuke is kind of like Narnia, so I mean, I guess you're not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, but you had 9 rounds in a row where, well, neither team could actually take benefit of having the better weaponry, better utility, anything at all, right? It's just completely silly. And obviously, like, it's off of the back of small mistakes, but a lot of the times as well, the first frag that goes you know, in your opponent's favor is, you know, 1 dig or something that you can't necessarily account for, depending on, you might have positioned yourself passively, and, you know, that's all you can do really in certain situations. But that was just kooky, and obviously that sets complexity up to have a pretty decent CT half, and it was actually pretty impressive that they managed to keep up with it, because normally when you trade rounds back and forth like that, it's always going to favor the T side because it's cheaper to re-equip yourself. But complexity, they just fought at it, man.
Well, they definitely brought the ruckus. They definitely brought the fight. But we most certainly can say that it was a little chaotic of a game. In case you just tuned in, you just tuned in a little too late, you can make sure you get this VOD over at youtube.com/ESLCS, where it is actually located amongst the other VODs of tonight. but a very chaotic side there from both compLexity and Cloud9 across the entire map. We saw the Pistols just being instrumental in this game.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a good thing they're not overpowered or anything. Completely balanced.
I don't get it. What are you getting at?
It's working, it's working as intended. No, it definitely back and forth, but you got to give credit to compLexity. We expected them to basically be a bit of a crash test dummy for Cloud9, back with their full lineup and all of that, and they refused to give up in that sense. And for a long part, actually, they were up 13-10. Cloud9 on the eco, and then Stewie threw a smoke happens, which not the first time, but still, they definitely could have gotten away with Nuke.
Definitely could have. It was right there in their grasp, and just a little bit of a heartbreaker there as they couldn't close it out. Let's take a look at today's matchups, what has transpired through the night. We did see Liquid and CounterLogic Gaming earlier. Liquid not able to pull together and muster a W tonight, as well as compLexity in the same regard. Now, the compLexity matchup being a little bit closer there at the end, it was a grind all the way. We even saw overtime. But as far as, Liquid and CLG, I mean, really, it kind of forecasted the way it went, huh?
Yeah, no, but I mean, I'm just super positively surprised by how CLG played that today. Really, that was just solid showing. And Team Liquid, obviously, releasing Pimp pretty much right after the game, they have to restart everything.
Well, now that we've got tonight's matchups all said and done with, let's take a look at the NA standings as they are currently. SK Gaming still sitting on top, 10-0. Cloud9 with these 2 Ws tonight, now moving up to 9-3, just ahead of Liquid, who are now at 9-4. Right as this is unraveling, we're getting closer and closer to that middle of the season sort of vibe with these teams.
Yeah.
That pack distancing itself from 6 downward. I mean, are these the teams we are going to see go to LAN?
I think we're going to see a couple of changes. Immortals sneaking around there on the 9th spot. I think we're definitely going to see them in Dallas eventually. And CLG, with the way they're playing right now, who's to say they can't knock out, a team like Misfits or Optic if they can't, necessarily get things going or keep things going. Obviously, we'll see if they, continue to play with Rikusa going forward. But as is right now, still a lot of things that can happen.
Absolutely, it's anybody's ball games at the top of that crop.
Yeah.
So let's switch it over now to the European side of things. I know this is more your style of doing things. So if you want to take it from here, go right for it.
I mean, even if it's, home turf, I'm still surprised by seeing Mouse Sports topping the leaderboards. I think anyone would be really at this point. North following right behind on 8-4, same score as Navi. So both of the, expected favorites there in that sense, at a good position to do well. Hellraisers, another team, though, that's coming out a bit out of nowhere. They've been in Pro League forever, pretty much, but they've always been towards the bottom end of it. Well, yesterday, or earlier today, depending on what time zone you're in, beat a VP 2-0. So, they're definitely feeling the groove right now. And elsewhere, fairly normal. One of the big things, though, as of late, is that NIP has gone from an 0-6 record to a 6-6 record.
That's good.
Yeah, that's a good sign if you're a NIP fan.
Much better than the beginning of the season was looking. Now, in case you're joining us a little late still and you don't really know what the hell's going on around here, we've got 28 teams battling it out across the globe for their place at LAN Finals in Dallas, Texas in May, I believe it is. June, close, May, June, same thing, doesn't matter. Anyway, get your tickets right now, proleague.com/Dallas. They're running a little low. I'm just going to warn you guys at home, if you don't get them now, you might not get them ever, and that's just the way it goes. So, obviously, Dallas, the place these teams are all vying for. We have one more night of matches here in this week, and that'll be tomorrow night. We've got compLexity, Luminosity. We're going to see Cloud9 again. We're going to see them take on Misfits. Let's pull that up here in front of you guys.
Yeah, so, another bit of a, who knows, actually. So Misfits versus SK, apparently. That's what we're going to see tomorrow on Renegades and Selfless. So I guess second match of the night with Renegades Selfless, that's going to be, a bit of a matchup to kind of get out of the bottom struggle, right? To separate yourself from the relegation teams. And for Misfits SK, big task for Misfits here, seeing if they can actually manage to solidify that top 6 spot. SK obviously want to stay undefeated, so a lot on the line there as well.
A lot on the line there for sure. I mean, SK, they need to come in right at this point in time. They're capable of coming in and kind of showing up that championship record of Cloud9 last season.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I believe that just about does it for us here at ESL Pro League tonight. Match night number 13 coming to an end. We'll be back tomorrow at the same great time and the same great place. So, be sure to join us then. We'll see you then.